have $1. In fact, no, brother man, here, have two. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God only. Know that if you do, beautiful heaven awaits. That's the poem I wrote for the first time. I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate, Mr. Window. That's his name. No one ever knew his name, cause he's an old one. Never thought twice about spending on an old bum until I had the chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge, I buy him some shoes. And to think blacks spend all their money on big colleges, still most of y'all come out confused. Go ahead, Mr. Window. Go ahead, Mr. Window. Mr. Window has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of a quick-to-diss society, for Mr. Window's a bum. His only worries are sickness and an occasional harassment by the police in their chase. Uncivilized we call him, but I just saw him eat off the food we waste. Civilization, are we really civilized? Yes or no? Who are we to judge when thousands of innocent men could be brutally enslaved or killed over a racist grudge? Mr. Window has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. Is it his fault when we've gone too far, and we got too far, cause on him we've walked? Mr. Window, a man, a human in flesh, but not by law. I feed you dignity to stand with pride. Realize that all in all, you stand tall. Go ahead, Mr. Window. Mr. Window, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Window. Mr. Window, yeah. Lord. Mr. Window. Mr. Window, yeah. Lord, Mr. Window. Mr. Window, yeah. Lord, Mr. Window.
While you talked,
Here.
like you slipped through things and...
Hello there, Pastafarian. It's me, Schizophrenic Mage. This is Jo over here.
Hello.
She's looking through all the things. And, Cisco Perea is here. What's the point in this? Well, a lot of people believe untrue things about reality, and I help set them straight. So a lot of people are like, did the global flood ever really happen? And I go, no. And they say, did the Lamanites ever cross the seas? And I go, no, that's mythology. So, if you have any questions for a Pastafarian, if you want to know truth, if you want to understand reality, ask me, and now is a great time to do it. But, you know, we're not just putting pressure on you. You don't have to feel like, well, Rowan 8F is here. Hello, Rowan. Welcome back.
Hello.
But anyway, Cisco, you don't have to feel the pressure that you've got to get up here and ask a question or find the best question to ask. Because, you know, generally there's nobody asking questions, so I just talk about shit. And if you want to just wait until you have questions, you are totally, that is totally expected. Right now, I'm taking my, as I always do, taking my daily medications, my prescription medications. And then while I do that, and I chug it down with this bottle of water here because I'm out of very cherry cola. Who was the first person to see the flying spaghetti monster? Well, I suppose the old. It depends on what you mean by see, right? It really depends on like how well they understood the flying spaghetti monster at the time. But I suppose that first midget, on the mountain, really sort of saw him leaving and waved goodbye. But Bobby Henderson was able to spend a lot of time with Flying Spaghetti Monster and help us see another facet of him, as it were. So it could be said Bobby
another
Henderson.
Side, another reflection.
Could be said that Captain Mosey was Captain Mosey from the Loose Cannon was the first to see him. But I would say the old midget was the first person to see Flying Spaghetti Monster. I'm going to listen to the song right here as I take my prescription medications, and I'll be right back. Okay, Pastafarians. Welcome back to the show. Is radio show, like I was saying. We are here in Red Light Studios. Nathan Mercer is here. Safe Word Studios. My apologies. We changed the name recently. Safe Word Studios. Good gracious. Yes. I'm in trouble now. They're going to yell at me at the meeting. Good golly. A lot of you are thinking to yourselves, hey, I thought you were not going to be streaming today. I was not going to be streaming today. but then situations situated themselves in such a way that I am. So yeah.
It often happens.
It often happens that instead of making plans, what actually happened was I foresaw the future poorly. So, yeah. All right, back to questions. Yeah, here's a question. I'm going to get around, says Rowan F, to reading the loose cannon one of these days. I think it's a pretty good read. It's you don't have to read it front to back, sort of thing. It was written by tons of different people, and if you're like, I'm over this section, just kind of move on. Much like the Old Testament, you know what I mean? But, in truth, the Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster has a lot more to say. It's a bit more to the point, instead of what we've got with the loose cannon, which is a sort of glut of puns, which is also very good.
Yeah.
Right. Cisco continues. What is with the pink invisible unicorn? That's a very good question. Did someone answer it? No. Okay. What is with the pink invisible unicorn? The pink invisible unicorn comes up, Joe, in case you don't know this because you're not a Pastafarian. Often when we talk about the flying spaghetti monster, generally the flying spaghetti monster is brought up with both the pink invisible unicorn and Russell's teapot. And these three arguments are brought up mostly by Richard Dawkins and similar as like ideas of a proof for any god proves these three gods. So why are you giving me non-specific proofs, right? Does that make sense? So if
Does it have to do with the burden of proof?
No, it has to do with the believer not understanding the argument they're proving relative to the argument they're making.
Okay.
So if a Christian comes up to you and says, "How do you not believe in Jesus?" and you're like, "What? I just don't believe in Jesus. I think he was not perfect." And they're like, "But look around you. There's proof that there is a God. They're not proving Jesus. They're just proving a God, and the God they prove is any god. They're proving their god. They're proving Thor. They're proving Vishnu. They're proving Flying Spaghetti Monster. They're proving
Russell's
teapot,
okay.
and more than that. And so then they each have a sort of specific sort of argument they make too, which is prove the invisible pink unicorn does not exist. And so that is the you were talking about the burden of proof. That is the argument to that.
Okay.
So it's a lot of these arguments together, and so yeah, it does talk about the burden of proof in that if you're just
Richard
going to
Dawkins has mentioned it too. These three words, flying spaghetti monster.
yeah,
Russell's
in his
teapot.
talks like he'll bring it up so you
Okay.
can check it out because he's a Pastafarian,
Okay.
he can't come out of it because he'll get blacklisted like we often do.
And
But-
did Bobby Henderson talk about these three themes?
No, Bobby Henderson doesn't talk about the Russell's teapot very much, or the pink unicorn,
Okay.
the invisible pink unicorn. Yeah, the invisible pink unicorn also has the sort of fallacy or contradiction in definition that we find a lot of times, that God created good and evil is your fault. You know, we get this really quick definition contradiction with Jesus, and pink and invisible seems like that to a lot of people.
Gotcha.
And so they're all like, "How can the unicorn be pink and invisible?" And like, how can an
God of Abraham be-
eternal God die on a cross?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, it just works.
How can he create us, but
Right.
we're-
There's a lot of arguments
Sin.
going on with these things, but the burden of proof, the non-specific God, the sort of like, how about you just prove your God, and a bunch of others like contradictions. So and the pink unicorn and Russell's teapot are more like Russell's teapot is more cerebral. Right, it's more like I'm bringing it up. It's just a thought experiment because the argument there is Russell. Which Russell was it? Do you recall? It's not Bertrand Russell, is it?
No, I
It's
don't.
not Russell. Russell M. Nelson, the Mormon, is it?
I hope not.
I don't recall which Russell it was. But he said, okay, in between here and Mars, there's a teapot in orbit. And I'm going to believe it until you prove it's not there. And you're like, well, we can't prove it's not there. It's just that you're asking too much right now. Proving that there is no teapot in orbit between here and Mars is too large an area to search, as it were, right? You'll never find that teapot. We can't know if it exists or not. We can just be like, well, I mean, how the fuck did it get there, right? But, like, we can't just assert that it exists or it doesn't exist, right? Like, that's what Russell's teapot's about. And they all come together. And Bertrand Russell, it was Bertrand Russell, says Nathan Mercer. Thank you very much.
Cool.
And so they argue different facets of this, and they're brought up together. And but the Flying Spaghetti Monster takes it much, 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 much further than those other arguments.
I think I'm birthing a religion today.
Ew, gross. Go to a hospital or something.
All right.
We don't need that all over the place.
Take it to the privates.
Yeah, take it to your privates. Imagine, says, I don't know, says. I keep saying says. I'm trying to, like, change it up here. So it's not just he said, she says over here. Imagine the little guys. I did not do my vocal warm-ups. Shall I listen to another song and do some vocal exercises? Here's some really good ones like this. This really helps out on the street, and it makes everyone know that you mean business. You got to do that. Loosen up the lips. Imagine the logical fallacy and hypocrisy for thanking God for the jury finding Abba Geiger. I've not been following this story, but I have heard that it has concluded. Finding Amber Geiger, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, guilty of murder, but not hating him for not stopping her pulling the trigger. Yeah, we here played our homecoming game in our high school here, and we played it against this very Christian high school for some reason.
They had Bible quotes on their t-shirts.
They had Bible quotes not on the t-shirts, on the uniforms of the
football
players who were playing our public school football team, and fucking handily trounced us like 100 points to 0. They didn't even give us a single point during our fucking homecoming game. Like, what kind of Christians are these? Christians who are going all the way. That's what it is. We're state-bound, motherfuckers.
We forget kindness whenever we want.
That's right. Not on the fucking pitch, it ain't. Oh,
That's why
Jesus.
they're so crazy about their sports.
All's fair in religious and football, am I right? Don't mind me as I like this joint that was recently rolled up for me, and for me to share. Good gracious. Cisco continues, aren't you violating the 8 I'd rather you didn't? Yeah, I am. I'm violating 1 and 6, but I am following 5 generally. Generally, I'm following the 5th, which is, and often I violate the 5th, let me say, that often I go out and I'm like, Jesus, it says I really should eat before I do this, and I don't. So, I'm not behaving in accordance with the 8 I'd rather you didn't, and you can bet if I can build a multi-million-dollar church to the Flying Spaghetti Monster, I'm going to. I'm definitely going to violate that one, because I'd rather you didn't, you know what I mean? Kind of the whole point is the only dogma is no dogma. Like, those 5 I'd rather you didn't are there to violate, as it were. Although maybe the consent one is not. I think there's one that's like really talking about consent. Which, good on us for talking about that in 2005. Is that when this really happened? Because it took the rest of America 10 years to get there, right? But it's in the I'd rather you didn't, so that's nice. So no, I'm not, going to be gleefully violating that one. But, don't tell people, that, I talk to you. Don't talk to me if you don't want me to tell people. I'm not going to be your secret boyfriend, Flying Spaghetti Monster. That's weird. If you talk to me, I'm going to tell people you talk to me. So, he'd rather you didn't, but fuck that shit. And, don't act like a holier-than-thou, pompous... I can act much worse than this. So I think although I'm violating it, I'm not, going full to the end.
Gleefully,
right.
Yeah, you feel restricted still.
Yeah, I'm just using it to parody people.
Still censored.
Yeah. I'm still holding it back a step or two. In a way that Kerrigan Skelly is not, in a way that Jesse Morrell is not, in a way that Ruben Israel is not. So yeah, no. What about number one? Asks Cisco. I think I talked about that. I am violating number one quite often, especially if that's the one that says, "Don't tell people I talk to you." The one that's all like, "Get over yourself," right? I'm not doing that, and I'm doing that for a number of reasons. One, it's fun. Two, I like to produce Pastafarian content for the interwebs, and I find the character to be very funny. I think the Flying Spaghetti Monster, the missing I'd rather you didn't, because obviously 4 more are missing. I mean, he's got a bunch of them, but he'd rather we. I don't remember. I can't tell you, apparently. He says he'd rather not say that. Yeah, through comedy we shall fucking make these assholes feel like idiots. I think that's implied. Through satire we will
break the shelves.
Yeah. I think implicitly in 5 it says, like, eat first, then, and there is a command there, right? First eat, and then he tells us what he'd rather we didn't, and it's very hard to hear him say what he wants us to do. But he very, very clearly says there, go after the bastards. So I'm trying to follow the 5th, and I think I'm not at all trying to care about the other 7 at the moment. Except for the consent one. I think I always have that sort of thing in my heart. I think that is the conversation of the now.
Collaboration, consent, communication. It's something we worship.
I worship communication, yes.
And that's consensual.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I would communicate against somebody's consent. I don't know if they're exactly the same, because that's the question. If these people obviously don't want to grow up, don't want to walk out of the mythology, can we make them? Against their will? I think the answer is absolutely. You don't get to choose to sleep. The sun is up. It's time to wake up. We've got to get walking, right? I'm just going to sleep through today is not an option we get, because that turns into I'm going to sleep through this decade because Jesus said I could. And that is why the Christians are always, always behind us.
And they're also foreshadows, self-prophecy steering the ship.
Yeah, to a fiery end. A fiery end that
God said would happen.
Right. It's their long-term goal is to burn this planet.
For it.
They claimed as much in their book. Like, their book is more evil than the Quran. It sets up a means of ignorance for the thing that will kill the mammals. Right? Just a way to ignore it. And they are. Right? So it's more than religious, it's political. But, you know, that's just me getting stoned and fucking talking about these bastards. So, am I violating some of the I'd rather you didn't? Oh, absolutely. I don't give a shit. I definitely will build a multi-million-dollar church. And I'll just throw away the fucking idea to be like, well, yeah, but they were talking about $2005. This is not a multi-million-dollar 2005 church. And I'll just get out of it.
Or we'll be a different branch.
Yeah, the only thing... Yeah.
We'll have our own I'd rather you didn't.
The reason that we don't have them is because we don't have multi-million dollars. When that changes, that fucking rule changes, and that's how rules work. And if you think that... Right? If, like, that's one of the things to learn about... But the reality is we made up all the rules, right?
Yeah.
So,
And we change them when we want.
We have to. We
Yeah.
must. We have to. Or we're not moving forward in the future. That is our moral imperative, is to take the golden rule and be like, wait. Isn't this the platinum rule then? If treating others the way you want to be treated is a genius thought, isn't treating others the way they're asking to be treated the step further?
Yes. Fuck
So,
yes.
I mean,
Platinum rule, huh? It's kind of a mouth, like...
well, it's also the double gold rule. The double golden. If you
Double
want to double
golden.
golden it, it's but we in the civilized
Platinum
world,
rule.
we don't worship gold like you used to. Oh, gold. It's such a an olden times metal.
Well, then it should be the American point rule.
Dollar bills. You're talking about dollar bills.
Yeah.
Cisco continues. Mosey the pirate captain, who's talked about in the for context for you, Joe. Mosey the pirate captain is from the Loose Cannon. You can
Okay.
read about him. He's in the early part of the Loose Cannon. He traveled around a lot, and he was involved in the giving away of candy to kids in the. He was
That's
the
cool.
he was a very good guy. He chased down. There was a long chase. His ship and the ninjas or something. I think the pirates and the ninjas were having a very long war back then. It's very hard for me to recall all these. It's been a while. Just as context for you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful because...
And what about having sex with your god? Most important. And what about having sex with your god? Well, I mean, that's up to you. If you want to have sex with him, I bet he's up for it. He's a weird dude, but I wouldn't want to have sex with him, eh? He's all So anyway,
Saucy.
yeah. So yeah, if you want to have sex with the flying spaghetti monster, that is definitely your privilege, I suppose. So yeah, go ahead and talk about that and publish it somewhere, I guess. I don't think that I'm going to be involved
Or make
in
a
that.
video of it.
Yeah, although which is really weird because I'm very much into sex. I very much enjoy sex. But
Oh, I definitely watch FSM porn.
thinking about sex with the divine is like. It's kind of like Lois Lane having sex with Superman. It's like, I just can't trust your dick, though, can I? It's like, let me have sex with you, Lois Lane. It's like, are you kidding me? Have you had sex with an Earthling yet? And he's like, no. And it's like, so hold on. We don't know how this is going to work, and you've been celibate your entire life. You're going to destroy me with that thing, right? I will die. That sort of idea.
Conversation's talked about in the Twilight series too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That's gross.
it is.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Twilight. I watched all of those. I watched them all. They were very, very informative. Lube up and get ready for his noodly appendage. Yeah. I suppose he's pre-lubed, but
It's warmed up as well.
he has quite some girth from what I hear. Is yes. So
But I have found from people's descriptions, it's always the girth that they wanted.
okay.
It's just like the heaven they imagined.
All right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He's a lady pleaser from what I hear. Wow. That's I did
There's
not.
no gender in who he pleases.
Well, I mean, I don't know if girth is what I'm looking for. Is what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to subtly. I'm trying to stay subtle. This is a kids show, eh?
Nope.
No?
No.
Oh, that's right. Oh, of course, because
You're in
it's a
porn
religion,
and
and religions are not for
propaganda
kids. That's
studio.
right. We're a pornography and propaganda studio. That's right. No kids
Yeah.
allowed in these. Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, fuck that shit. There's no way. Just the size I wanted. I wanted it to be no size.
It would be no sense.
Wow. I don't need any girth with my sexual
He
encounter
understands.
with the creator. Wow. I have heard people having sex with aliens and ghosts and stuff, but the actual creator of reality. I guess I haven't heard about that
Muppets.
since Mary said it. Since she had reality's baby.
Yeah.
And Shmee, is that right? So you guys ever watch The Phantom Menace? And right in the middle of that, Qui-Gon, who is definitely a fucking Sith, is talking to Shmi, and he goes, "So, who's the father?" Right? And she goes, "There was no father." You remember that?
Yeah.
The fuck is that? Like, and we just walk right the fuck away from that. We leave it in the closet with the midichlorians, and we just walk away from it. We never turn around and talk about it. It's like, they were just weird back then. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anakin's got no dad? That's stupid.
Yep.
Fucking flying spaghetti monsters, fucking people in every galaxy, spreading babies all over the place, got
Through
Mary
every
pregnant.
myth.
Yeah, in all these myths. Fucking these ladies. And guys, apparently, yeah, this dude's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super freak.
So, yeah, he's super freaky.
Kinky.
So sex with other gods is okay too. Just work on them. Oh, that's right. That's in one of the I'd rather you didn't. So he implies that he wants to have sex with you. Yeah, it's part of the thing of like what he's telling you to do. He's telling you to go out and talk shit to the fucking Westboro Baptists who are coming this month. This is October. We're in the month now. They're going to be preaching in front of a church, of a school, a public high school.
Is that the only place in that city that they're preaching?
No, they're like going from place to place, and they're staying at each place for like an hour and a half.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in front of that high school. Like, we'll find a location.
Right, but can we get some B-roll there? We won't
Yeah.
talk to them, we'll just B-roll them.
Yeah, we totally could.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See, okay, look, so what I'm saying is, why don't we go over to Patreon and fucking put a couple dollars in. Oh shit, it's the first of the month. That means Patreon is coming at your credit cards now, Patroniums. Thank you very much for joining us for this month's worth of nonsense and silliness. I think this month we got $7. And if we get to 1,000 subscribers, which we're doing better and better, like more and more, we're at 820. We get like $10 a month, maybe $5 a month. And so, yeah, that's like nothing. But it's very much appreciated.
It is different than zero.
It is different than zero. And we have rewards over there on the Patreon, because a lot of these videos, they get shut down because of what we're saying is so, you know,
Censored.
edgy. The NSA is always
This
listening.
is a radio pirate show.
Pirate radio. They shut us down quite a bit. So if you can't watch a video on the YouTube, if you're like, what? It's fucking blocked. What the fuck? Fucking drop me a line on fucking Twitter or whatever, and I'll pop it into the Patroniums there, and you can check it out over there, because we can't find a place that wants to host a bunch of audios.
Yeah, unlimited.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah,
because we're on zero budget.
Yeah. We're like, we get $5 a month. What do we get? And they're like, oh, you get the fuck out of here.
So I like this Patronium idea.
Oh yeah, it might work. It might work. We'll see if we like bump into some limit, and they're like, "Excuse me,
You've uploaded too
that's
many.
all you get." Okay. But we will see. Big Secret Open WMD is here. Hello. I Less Than 3 Trolling is here. Hello. Welcome back to everybody to the show here. Should give the money back. Me? I should give the money back to the people in the Patrons? Well, I mean, if you would like to come by and get your money back, I guess I could give it to you. Do you send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the PO box that you'll find in the description of this video?
Yeah.
And not only will we send you that, but we'll also send you one Maxell cassette of these radio shows so that you can listen to them at your own leisure, with all the music in, by the way.
Nice.
That's right, because I think that's okay. I don't know. I think that's actually the fucking copyright law is like, no, you copied it and then you distributed it. It's like, oh, okay, so like, that's
like,
weird.
Literally, that is it.
Like, you
Especially
put it on a
if
tape.
they pay you $5 for it.
No, they don't pay me. It's all gifts and donations. Everything you send here is a gift and donation that will go to making this a 40353C. Do you know the
Something
one of those?
Very close.
Oh, the lawyer that will definitely tell us what that thing is, so that we can be tax exempt. You know who's tax exempt now? It's fucking Anthony Magnabosco's got that shit.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, that son of a bitch. I
And
think
he
he's
does
tax
the
exempt.
Street epistemology.
Oh yeah.
what
He's very good at that. He's
that's
he exploded it. Like, there was this book written by this guy, and I hear that the book is really bad, And the best part of the book is that it got Anthony Magnabosco off his ass working on it. That's just what the comments say, alright? Like, you can never trust the internet comments. They're bastards. They're mean on purpose. So, you know, people, you can't really trust people who are mean on purpose, who are mean for fun. Like, that's not very trustworthy. "401c, that's correct. 401c3, right? 401. That's very close to a 401k. Is it like the same rule?
401c.
Is it? Fuck. These. Why don't we like give them names? Eh? Wouldn't that be cool? Why do we like number them? Like we give them. This is the designation of the rule. Well, that's weird. We're weird people.
They have so many forms. It's hilarious.
I think it's kind of to keep common people out. Is that me just being paranoid? That like the lawyers make it hard to understand so that people like you and me can't understand it? That's me just being a paranoid asshole, isn't it? That's not why it's happening.
No.
Obfuscation is a marketing tool, says Nathan Mercer. For certain cults, yes it is. And political ideas. Like when you... It's a useful sort of propaganda idea seller, as it were. So yeah, it pops up a lot in our American lives because we're bombarded by like $1 trillion worth of advertising, you know? So we talk about, just to put the sort of amount of advertising dollars into perspective, we talk about movies, right? And like the budget of a movie, there's like this whole budget of a movie that goes to the making of it.
Yeah.
And then there's a budget of a movie that goes to advertising it. And we all know that budget is practically the same, right? It's a thing that's sort of a rule of thumb we've all heard if we give a shit about movies. And so when we think about all the writers and directors and producers and actors that are very, very rich and famous, and we think about all of their money, the movie industry is also putting that exact same amount of money into advertising. Okay? So, like, exactly that, but a shadow version, right? And that's happening for movies and music and sports and soda pop and cars
Any product
and shoes and every single thing that's advertised, and the Mormon church. And seeing the Mormon church use the very same billboards in Times Square that McDonald's and Nike and Calvin Klein use really was one of the... Oh, fuck, I definitely can't go back. Like, oh my gosh. And they were so proud of it. They're like... My mother and I's relationship is nothing but the church. She has nothing in the world she wants to talk to me about except for the church. We'll start talking about the weather, and then she'll say, I was at the temple the other day, and I'm like, okay, you did it. And she's like, what do you mean? And so that's been my relationship with my mother for a very long time. But oh shit, where was I going with that? Anyway, you know what I meant. Probably not. I believe they do make things hard to understand, especially with ballots as well. Yeah, obfuscation is useful to get you to vote their way. Churches definitely do it. Yes. Like, advertising is bullshit. That's as far as I got. The rest was just sort of shit talking, because I'm just shitting around right now in radio show. Because Tuesdays are like answer question days. It's one of our very low days. And Wednesday is our absolute zero day. Nobody shows up. Except for, you know,
so Wednesday we do homework on
yeah, we do some homework.
Stream.
I did some homework yesterday. I recorded, we did the sort of viewing and writer's attempt of a Mormon classic film for this Mystery Science Theater project that we're working on. And so I have it with my writer right now, who is doing it for merely a third of the cost. I get a third, and he gets a third, and then we send another third up to the production company. I think he's agreed to that, but maybe not. I'll put it in writing. I'll get my 401c3PO lawyer on it. And so, yeah, I did that yesterday. Homework. Done some homework.
Nice.
That's right. For like the first time in a long time. I just count this as my homework. And so that's why tomorrow on the stream we're going to be doing the homework.
Mm-hmm. But actually, tomorrow we won't be here.
Oh shit, you're right! Because I thought we were going to today get my driver's license, but events conspired against me. So it's got to be tomorrow. So, yeah, won't be here tomorrow. Like I wasn't supposed to be here today. And so, hey, if it's tomorrow, and you're like, oh shit, I thought he wasn't going to be here yesterday, but instead he's not here today. Well, just listen to this, right? And, right? Because don't listen to this between then and now. Wait a minute. Who am I? I'm the guy in the future talking to you in the future. It's hard. Time travel is difficult.
Yeah.
I try to avoid it lately. But if you do want some time travel tips, the very first step, drink, you know those 5-hour energies?
Mm-hmm.
Drink 5 of those in one day. It's cramming an extra hour into your day.
Cool.
Yeah, you see, it's like a joke. You see the joke? It's like 24 hours.
Right.
But then you drink
Somehow.
25 hours worth of energy in one day. See? And so you've like extended time. That's the premise of that joke. Yeah. Yeah. Also, he could have been high on many things, including weed, during his creation bender. Oh, yeah, we do, we know that he was definitely drunk. We know that the creation event was a mistake. He regrets it immensely, right? But since he gave us all free will, there's nothing he can do, right? Because, I mean, he's the one who chose to create it with free will. And so he's like, well, I'd really like to destroy you, as it were, you know, in theory. But, I mean, that's just really not an option. Because I'm the one who decided to make you an equivalent consciousness for some reason. That's the thing I needed in reality, I guess, when I was super drunk.
Yep.
I needed you guys to think for yourselves. You could have been automatons, right? Could have just run around like machines doing what you were supposed to do all day long. And now, and I set up this whole thing where I pretend that what you're doing is not what I wanted you to do.
Yeah.
What a strange game it is.
Strange deity.
But would you kill baby Hitler in a time machine? No, I wouldn't. I think I would become his, I would sneak in. Have you seen Good Omens? I think I would do the thing that they do. It's like, no, we don't kill him, we teach him, right? And I think I would do a stupid, like, mistake like that.
Yeah.
Like, given the big, that's why nobody's asking me to go back and kill Hitler. I'd be like, no, I'd try everything else first. And then be like, God damn it. That's what everyone tries.
We've used 5 attempts.
That's why it keeps happening, guys. But for some reason, they had to fucking stop them Berensteins from doing whatever they were doing. Or the Berensteins, rather. We changed all of reality and we erased the Berensteins because they were apparently the most evil people in the world. We replaced them with the Berensteins, from what I hear. What do women get in the afterlife? Exactly the same. Is that right? An absolute equivalence. I think you get. I think with the theory of heaven, which a lot of people are working on still. It is, you get what you want, you know. I think
what you pictured or what you hoped for.
Yeah, I think Terry Pratchett is the most recent prophet to really understand what heaven was. Like, I know that Bobby Henderson talks about heaven, and of course he's going to see heaven from Bobby Henderson's point of view. And I think it says a lot about Bobby Henderson that Bobby Henderson's heaven has beer volcanoes and stripper factories. You know, yeah, my heaven. I don't need a factory-made stripper, you know what I mean? Like, my heaven's a little different, you know. Or the part of heaven I'll be hanging out in, I guess. I don't know. I'll visit the beer volcanoes, right? I'm just not going to be spending all my time there, right?
Yeah.
And if you know the secret handshake, says Nathan Mercer, you get 72 virgins in paradise. Yeah, I know those handshakes, by the way. if you would like them, come on down to Denver with a $5 bill, and I will definitely teach you these secret handshakes. I'm going to pass the savings on to you. These were very, very expensive to learn. I had to go inside the Mormon temple to learn this shit. And, like, by that time, I'd pretty much promised to go on the mission. So it's like, alright, you going on a mission? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
How
like,
many
alright,
days
we'll
of
give you the handshakes.
boot camp, Mormon boot camp were you in?
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
700, 800?
Oy. I'm over it! Oh my god! I'm so bored with those people. Hey, did you guys know that there is more music in the world to listen to, and some of it goes like this?
Salvation Army band played, and the children drank the lemonade, and the morning lasted all day, and through an open window came, like Sinatra in a younger day, pushing the town away. He said in winter 1963, it felt like the world would freeze, with John F. Kennedy and the Beatles. We followed him down to the station. No, he never would wave goodbye. You could see it written in his eyes as the train rolled out of sight. Bye, bye.
So that was. Oh, pardon me. I am so embarrassed. I cannot even. Oh my goodness. It's like farting on the microphone. It's quite embarrassing. I have to take a moment now to deal with that. And during that moment, I'll go to my old friend This big old plastic dick that I suck every day. All day, every day. Why do Mormons believe in getting their own planet, wonders Cisco Pereira. I think I got closer that time. That's a good question. It has to do with things that Mormons no longer believe anymore, and so it's a very difficult. It
No longer supported by the top guys.
Yeah. So it comes from a difficult idea of you can't go up to a Christian and tell them what they believe at all. You know, you can't say no, but you believe Jesus is divine. We just simply don't know that. A person who identifies themselves as Mormon isn't the same Mormon that every other person that identifies themselves as Mormons is. And with the Mormons and many of these cults, they reinvent themselves every single generation. So the people who are Mormon now are not they do not believe the same things that people who are Mormon 20 years ago believe. And then they definitely don't believe the same things 40 years ago. Like, it's further and further away. And so, like, it's sort of maybe right to say that Brigham Young believed that this father-son relationship that he had with the Creator, because he was the prophet. He took it during the succession. He's like, I'm the prophet, I'm the king, let's walk the fuck out of it. And so he lived his whole life with the idea that if God's going to talk to anybody, he's going to fucking talk to me, motherfucker. And it's a very interesting point of view to have. And so he was thinking about this relationship a lot, and he talked about it a lot, and he practically owned the people that were under him, and he just really believed in ownership. And
called himself king.
Yeah, in secret meetings. And so he believed that this cycle of father-sons would continue. He believed that the idea of what God is was attainable to us as offspring. So not so much our planet, but because God's got more than one planet. But I think it would be more akin to saying a universe kind of thing. Was the belief, and that God had a God, that God is the son of a holy God, and this cycle of divine whatever we're doing,
Thunderdome,
recreation, making and creating gods was endless, like, and so, you know, that's sort of the question of a lot of people come at me and they'd be like, so what created the universe? And it's like, that's like asking what created God, and you guys throw that question away so easily. I don't know why you don't allow me to throw that question away for what created the universe. I just really don't get it. Like, they totally get it when you're like, cool, but who created God? And they're like, no, you don't understand. And they don't even listen to you. And then they don't give you a tool like that. So, but anyway, that's sort of one of the answers to that question, is who created God? Is God's God, but that's none of your fucking business. And that's the Mormon answer. And so it included, or not the Mormon answer, but the Brigham Young answer. And included with that is the idea that if you do everything right, you're going to be doing the God stuff. So there's going to be a universe, you're going to send your son down, you're going to save everyone, they're going to be praying to you. And so that's not taught anymore. I think a lot of the apostles and the prophet right now believed it at one time, but I think that they just don't believe it anymore and then don't teach it, and they think that's fine. They think that that's how religion works, and it really kind of is. So the modern Mormons don't believe that. They don't believe that, right? It might be a thing that's possible or maybe probable, but they don't teach it. In the same way that they used to believe that Jesus had 3 wives, and now you can't find a Mormon that'll be like, oh yeah, that's probable. I don't think you'll find a Mormon to say that. Like, well, maybe, I guess it's possible is the best you'll get, I guess. They used to believe it, right? Like that Jesus couldn't get to heaven unless he was a polygamist. So who were his wives?
Then they named him.
Yeah, that's it was an easy game to play, and they played it a lot out there in the cold fucking winters with their millions of child brides who are like, talk more to us, and you just fucking gotta read the fucking book more and more, you know, like, do you think they would ask that we have a heavenly mother? And you'd be like, well, I suppose we've got to. Do you think they would ask that our heavenly father has more than one wife like you do? Oh shit, I guess it's got to be possible. Do you think that we might have different heavenly mothers even though we all have the same heavenly father? It's like, not only do I think that, I was doctrine for a minute. And then it was fucking erased because it's so fucking kooky, isn't it? So, yeah, Mormons used to believe things that Mormons don't believe. And they don't know. None of the Mormons know this. They all think that they believe exactly what Joseph Smith said, and then they just don't go listen to what Joseph Smith said. It's really easy. They let other people tell you what Joseph Smith said.
Yes.
Yeah. You know how during a near-death experience begins I less than 3 traveling, one can see heaven. It's usually the one they were indoctrinated or personally desire. Maybe heaven is personalized for the individual. Converting to a religion is simply us selecting which one we want to after we die, he concludes. Yeah, I think that this is very much what Terry Pratchett was sort of putting forward, is that even though death is a being that we will all eventually meet, that we will have our moment alone with death, coming to terms with the fact that we have just died, what happens next is very much what we expected. And so it is a sort of vote, and we can change our vote, and we can change what heaven exists for us. Posits Sir Terry Pratchett. And if he was wrong, I suppose he would have told us by now. He would have come back and been like, no, it's all fucked up. But, you know, I think the very evidence that he has not come back to tell us is points to the fact that, yeah. And so, like, I do think a very, very small amount of people do believe they're going to hell. Like, they believe the mythology and they believe that they're going to a hell. And so that's a fucking stupid fucking thing to do to a person. Because most of the Christians think they're fucking going straight to heaven, right? They think they're doing it right. But then they have, like, these sort of
guilt cycles,
yeah,
shame cycles to keep them.
The outcasts, the fucking scapegoats that they circumcise every generation. They're out there believing in the hell. Like, that is the danger, is believing that a hell awaits you. What a fucking if Jesus deserves derision for nothing more than the invention of hell, then he deserves as much derision as he's given. It is a despicable thing that he created, though in reality I believe that Paul created it. I don't think there is a Christ to blame. I think or a Jesus to blame. I think Paul did it himself.
Yep.
So we curse the name
Traveling
Jesus,
ways.
but we really should curse Paul of Tarsus. We Saul, eh?
Yeah. That's his stage name.
Yeah, probably. No, actually, I think it's probably Saul is his stage name. It's like, they used to call me Saul or something like that. Out there, the Jews call me Saul. It's like, you've not been out there for a very long time, Paul. You're a fucking Greek now, man. Heaven is drugs, DMT being released into your system. Ayahuasca. I am very interested in having some time alone with ayahuasca. Or not alone, supervised time with ayahuasca.
Yeah, a tour guide.
But yes, unfortunately, if you don't mind me talking boring and stupid here, it seems that your consciousness is a product of the meat that you are. It seems there is no ghost aside from the electricity that dances around upon the juices and the weird shit going on in your brain. It seems like you are the optical illusion. That thing that you wish to exist for eternity, that thing that you hope escapes this reality and continues another life somewhere else, is a product of your squishy meat that you carry around in that very specialized skull bone to protect it. It's very, very important, and it does all the things that you do. It's all done up in there, and and down in the. If you look at the nervous system, it looks exactly like the flying spaghetti monster, just shown apart. And that's what you are. You're that creature, that thing, how you feel like something's driving it. It's not a ghost. It's this weird sort of squid of nerves, right? And that's what's driving this vehicle around, vehicle of bone and blood. And yeah, so the people who are having the near-death experiences and who are seeing the things are describing things that you can see. You can see those visions. You don't have to wait until your last moment to see them. Some people do, and that's fine. But they're not seeing truth. They're having their first experience with some very fucked up drugs. So they are not to be trusted as far as describing a real situation. In the same way that we don't trust people who get high all the time to describe the way that our laws should go, right? We just don't trust them. We just don't trust drugs to tell us how driving should work, right? So, anyway, Pastafarians, gentlemen and ladies. Oh wait, there's more. Oh, there is more. That's a trip, man. You know how there were some failed doomsday predictions that they'd retcon as Jesus coming back invisibly, maybe even born reincarnated? Was there anyone who was born on one of those dates that used it to justify them being Jesus when starting a cult? I would expect no. Well, I mean, I bet you can find one. There are enough of them around these predictions of dates. I think I'm surprised that no one's talking about 2,000 years after the crucifixion. Like, no one has said the year shall be 2044 or 33 or 35 or 37. It depends who you ask, I guess. The year shall be 2037. It shall be on the day, the 2000th millennium of the crucifixion. Because God loves round numbers. God has 10 digits like we do and worships the number 10 like we worship it. God has many, 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 many more digits than we do. He doesn't give shit about these round fucking numbers. Good golly. Good golly. But another thing is, a person that's going to start a cult is going to do it with whatever tools they have. And so, the chances that they have one of those useful tools is the same as everybody else. It's probably pretty low. And so, they're going to do it anyway. It's a nice sort of touch, but they're going to do it anyway. They're going to change their name, It's like, and his name sounded so kooky, and it's like, they changed it. They had a normal name before, and then they were like, but I'm going to, go by this word so that everybody knows I'm pretty out there. I'll be like a guru or something. Anyway, starting a cult was fun. If you guys do want to check it out, you can look at my my recent book, published in the you'll see it in our gift shop as you leave, called Starting a Cult for Fun and Profit. And very, very low cost of $30, signed by me. Anyway, Pastafarians, what I'm going to do is leave right now. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a good time. Be nice and chill. And I think we're supposed to be good and do good and be better. So try that. Try doing that.
Yeah.
Bye.
is waiting, all systems are go. Are you sure? Control is not convinced, but the computer has the evidence. No need to abort. The countdown starts. Watching in a trance, the crew is certain, nothing left to chance. All is working, trying to relax. Up in the capsule, sent me up a drink. Jokes, Major Tom. The count goes on.